Hi guys, Yusef here, and welcome to Movie Thoughts, the show where we talk about movies. Today's episode is about Avengers Infinity War. Avengers Infinity War was directed by Joe and Anthony Russo and stars Robert Downey Jr., Chris Hemsworth, Chris Evans, Zoe Saldana, Josh Brolin, and Chris Pratt. The story focuses on the Avengers as they scramble to fight off Thanos, the Mad Titan, and stop him from gathering all of the Infinity Stones and wiping out half of all life in the universe. Right off the bat, I will say this. I thought this movie was incredible. It was action-packed, it told a heartbreaking story, and the acting was top-notch, especially Josh Brolin as Thanos. And the ending is not something that any of us will be forgetting anytime soon. As soon as the movie starts, it just hooks you in and it never lets go. Less than 10 minutes in, you have Thanos killing off a fan-favorite character in Loki, taking down the Hulk, and emotionally breaking down Thor. This immediately sets Thanos up as this villain that's far deadlier and far more dangerous than anything that the Avengers have ever faced before. I really enjoyed how this movie branched off into different stories, and I thought these stories were so engrossing that they could have made their own film. And something that I really liked as well was the way that we got to see a lot of character interactions that we had never really seen before in the Marvel movies. I mean, in one of the stories you had Thor teaming up with Rocket, Raccoon, and Groot as they were trying to find a weapon strong enough to kill Thanos. And the other story had Captain America and what I like to call like the military Avengers, which is all the Avengers that have bases in military training, like Bucky, Black Widow, and Sam the Falcon. And all they're doing is teaming up with Black Panther and Scarlet Witch as they're trying to protect the Vision and all of Wakanda at the same time. And that was a climactic battle at the end, and it was super exciting to watch. And then you had Iron Man, Doctor Strange, and Spider-Man teaming up with the Guardians of the Galaxy to bring the fight directly to Thanos and just try to stop him from getting the other Infinity Stones. Now, there were some disadvantages to that. Like, sometimes the feeling of the film was a bit disjointed because I feel like they would focus on certain characters for a bit too long. And once they would cut back to another storyline, you were like, wait, what just happened? Like, you were a little bit confused and kind of had to wrap your head around it a little bit. But overall, I feel like that was just a small nitpicky thing and it didn't really ruin the experience for me. Moving on to the main baddie himself, Thanos. I feel like he is the most engrossing and the most interesting villain that I've seen in the MCU so far. Strangely enough, the movie focuses on him as a character as opposed to the other Avengers. And I really enjoyed that because it gives you a sense of his motivations and you get to see why he wants the Infinity Stones and why he feels that he needs to wipe out half the universe. And because in his mind, he is the hero of his own story. And just like a hero, he is tireless in this quest to save the universe, however misguided that quest might be. And I think that Josh Brolin did an amazing job at bringing this character to life. I think the motion capture that they used could rival something that was done by Andy Serkis, who is by far the king of motion capture. He was able to show a lot of emotion, a lot of anguish, a lot of anger in his character. And one scene in particular is what really threw it over the edge there, and it was, no pun intended. And it really was that scene between him and Gamora when he realizes that to gain the Soul Stone, he has to kill the one thing that he loves, and that's Gamora. And you can see in his face as the tears are like rolling down his face that this is a major sacrifice for him, and it's something that he wasn't prepared to do, but because he's the hero, he has to do it anyway. Now, I'm not known for crying in movies. There are only two movies that I've seen that have made me cry, and those were Captain Phillips, the ending of Captain Phillips once they save him, and I don't know what it is about that scene, but the first time I saw it, it did give me some mist. And of course, Toy Story 3. by far. Avengers Infinity War did become the third film that has made me cry. And I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not ashamed to admit that. The ending scene was extremely emotional, very heartbreaking, because I mean these are characters that I've been following since before even the MCU came out. These are characters that I've been following in comics and everything, but seeing them brought to life in the MCU was different. And you've been caring for all these characters for 10 years, and to suddenly just see them be wiped away, that hit home really hard. I mean, Thanos was able to snap his fingers, and he does kill half of all life in the universe. And this completely flips the MCU on its head, because it finally shows that the Avengers aren't invincible, that they are just like us, that they're relatable. They will mess up sometimes. And this time it did cost a lot. I mean, you lost a bunch of characters like Black Panther, Scarlet Witch. You lost almost all of the Guardians of the Galaxy except for Rocket and Nebula. You lost Doctor Strange, but the one that really gets me the most is Spider-Man. I mean, I think Tom Holland did an amazing job in that scene. You could, in that desperation of him not wanting to disappear, and Robert Downey Jr. did a great job in that as well, as he's trying to reassure him that everything's going to be okay. That is what made me cry the most, that specific scene, because it was just so powerful and so riveting that it was really emotional. Now, I did have some gripes with the movie. Mainly the lack of introduction and background on certain characters, and the final battle in Wakanda. Now, personally, I haven't really read the Infinity storylines in the comics. I've mostly focused on a lot of the real-world stuff, like the Spider-Man stories and the Captain America stories. And I sort of ignored a lot of the cosmic stuff, just because it always confused me. But it's something that I've been meaning to get back into as well. So I think that because of that, I did find myself a bit confused by the children of Thanos, those 4 characters that are trying to get the Infinity Stones for Thanos. In the movie, they kind of just appear next to Thanos with no introduction, and that was a little bit jarring for me. There is a small line where Thor mentions that they destroyed Sandar from the first Guardians of the Galaxy. And it's kind of it's almost like a throwaway line. And I really would have liked to see the movie actually open with that. That way you really get a sense of the destruction that Thanos is leaving in his wake. Plus you also get to see more of Thanos, the children of Thanos in action. You really get to see how dangerous they are, how deadly they are, how much trouble they could have caused for the Avengers. And that's just something that I really want to see some more of. Plus I think that as an introduction, that would have been such a great opening scene as well. I mean, don't get me wrong, the opening scene was insanely great. It was well made, very well directed, but like I said, it just kind of throws you into the situation and it doesn't give you a lot of background. And me personally, I wanted to know more about the children of Thanos, more about those characters, because I thought they were pretty interesting. My other gripe with the film has to do with the final battle in Wakanda. I mean, for the third Avengers movie, we have once again these characters facing off against a giant CGI army, and it was just a little bit tiring for me to see it a third time. Something that I would have preferred to see was all our heroes facing off against the children of Thanos. Just these 4 characters, and I would have shown these 4 characters as so extremely powerful that even our heroes were having a tough time with just 4 people. And I would have really liked to see more of that, of our heroes or the Avengers banding together and just going after these guys. And I feel like it would have been a little bit more triumphant for the Avengers to defeat these characters. And I feel like as a storytelling device, it would have been a little bit more of a bittersweet victory, because you have these characters defeating these 4 extremely powerful creatures, and then they're like, they think that they were able to complete the mission, that they succeeded, and right there and then is when all of that gets taken away from them by Thanos. And I feel like that would have been even more emotional than the movie already was. But at the same time, I'm very happy with how they were able to create this whole army, and how you kind of got a chance to see all the characters interact in a certain way. Like, you got to see Rocket and the Winter Soldier, the White Wolf, kind of fighting together, and you had never seen something like that before. And then you also have Thor and Groot fighting alongside with Captain America, and it was really exciting to see. So that, like I said, is just a nitpicky thing, just a small gripe. I just would have liked to see that done differently. But other than that, it was just those 2 kind of weaknesses in my opinion. All in all, Avengers Infinity War did a great job of bringing all of its characters together for a huge climax that just leaves you breathless. It was a truly enthralling film from start to finish, and I cannot wait to see how the story ends. Aside from some small nitpicky things, the movie had some great set pieces and scenes. It also had an interesting and multi-layered villain in Thanos, and it had a darker story that we really hadn't seen in a Marvel movie before. I give Avengers Infinity War an A. Guys, I want to thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. You can click right here, become a part of the Cyborg Army today.